Okay, hey everybody. Today I wanted to have just a quick, discussion about, why social deduction games seem to have really weird acting staff. Like, you'll never go anywhere without seeing a social deduction game having people going, we need this person banned, please ban this person, he's doing this. And you'll never be far behind people in social deduction games using it for trolling or crazy things like spamming swastikas or trying to lose their own side, make them lose. But today I just want to talk about the staff, and I've got Epic Mafia up on the screen here, not because I think it's the worst, but just because it's easier for me to talk to you about how these sorts of sites work with something to look at to do with it. Anyway, so if you go out in the forums of any of these sorts of sites, you'll see this general idea, or if you got a Discord server, you'll have lots of different sections where people can talk. Like, I think somebody here is going nuts about Chris Jericho. Oh well, but the thing is, when you get into these places, you'll come across a lot of people who want to rile up the people who come in. At which point, you'll come across situations where the people who are trying to talk to you will try their best to make you yell at them. They'll use subtle little hints that they're trying to insult you, or insult your intelligence in such little ways that to actually go back against them and call them out then gets you attacked by moderators and moderating staff. And this happens in all of them. Epic Mafia, Town of Salem, Throne of Lies, the works. Pretty much I've come across situations where all of these staff have sided with the aggressor rather than the persecuted, which is rather odd to me. And I had to wonder just why they never actually look into these, why they never side with the people who deserve to be protected, the good players, the ones who are constantly ridiculed by the bad players, the ones who just want to play the game rather than the ones who want to be getting people kicked out. Now, again, the most prevailing thing I found in this on was Town of Salem, and again, I think people who come to this channel know my feelings about Town of Salem. But I've seen it on Epic Mafia where a player made a mistake in a ranked match and had an argument with the other person because they basically started calling them a fucking arsehole, how dare you not know how to play, etc, etc. Anyway, this guy was then reprimanded by the moderators, despite being the victim in this clear case of being attacked, and the moderator suspended him, saying that he was game throwing by not knowing sufficient information. Which I found, frankly, an absolutely abhorrent circumstance. I mean, what person wants to go into a game and then get told that they were in the wrong after being bullied because they didn't know information? I mean, you've got the argument that it was a ranked match and they should have known, but people make mistakes all the time. I just don't understand where these moderators could get off attacking somebody for such a ludicrous reason, and siding with people who, all rightly, should not be the ones enjoying the game at that point. Now, back to the matter at hand. The whole problem I have with moderators in these situations is they largely don't seem to have any clue on, basic human decency. All the ones I come across, except for a choice few, and they probably know who they are, the ones that I am excluding, because, obviously, I'd have mentioned them to them before, seem to have it in their head that the rules are absolute. They have to follow every single thing given by some holy rulebook that developers have handed down to them. And if they deviate from that in any way, even if it harms people who don't deserve it, they will self-explode or implode. They'll be like, oh no, I broke the rules of my own job, must self-destruct, boom. And it's rather odd, because you would think that moderators would act with autonomy, and they would sort out things in a manner which would make the game more pleasant for the users. I mean, that's their job. Moderators are supposed to, firstly, kick out the bad people, and secondly, ensure a good environment for the people who need to stick around and who have play their game and keep it going. Unfortunately, this doesn't seem to be the case. Moderators nowadays, in these types of social deduction games, seem to take the attitude that everybody is guilty. The moment that anyone accuses someone, unless there's absolute proof they didn't do it, they will take the side of the aggressor. And it's weird. And so I wonder, how do moderators like this get in their positions? And it's only recently that I have fully understood why. And I know I might get a bit of flack for this, because everyone's going to be like, well, that's subjective, but the reason is quite simply nepotism. Moderators are hired and placed into positions because of their relationships with developers, not their ability to moderate. It doesn't matter if they are very good at management skills, if they are nice at working out how a situation came out, or deducting what actually happened or who should be punished. Doesn't matter. What these moderators are here for are to make the developers feel safe. Firstly, in the idea of, look at us, we're doing something, we're hiring these people to look at our product and keep it safe, and then just let them roll around doing whatever they want, unless they do something majorly fuck up, like, I don't know, sell loads of fake keys or something. And it's insane, because social deduction places and games are getting what I can imagine a bad rap more recently. Town of Salem was the first one where I saw that people were starting to go quite against moderation and developers on that. And Epic Mafia was the second one I tried, and I could not believe how strict these moderators were and how elitist their attitude to people could be. It would seem that their game was for hardcore social deduction people, and the moderators were under strict rules or their own agenda to make sure to keep the newbies out, keep out the casuals, those filthy casuals who are going to ruin our game and stop us from having our mechanical this must happen at this point palaver. As if they were trying to reach some sort of deductive nirvana where everyone knew exactly how they should act and they could understand how they act and then just be able to deduce that and then circle jerk themselves eternally without adding any sort of rogue element or chaotic influence onto their game. And can we stop them doing that? No, we can't, because that's their choice. However, it does give a rather bleak idea for the future of this genre, in that this is the sort of moderation that's happening. Now, let's talk about Throne of Lies. Now, Throne of Lies recently... I'm not going to say they're as bad as Town of Salem, because I can't, because it's weird saying that anything could be worse than that crazy show. But, let's take for a moment. I heard of recently that one of the developers had taken on two of their best friends as moderators after cleaning out somebody who, I'm not going to mention names, who pretty much was running their operation, as in put so much work into it that it was amazing. But they got rid of him and hired their friends instead. Oh dear. And I haven't been sticking around. I don't know how their moderating's going. All I know is that while I was there was some painstakingly awful decisions made under that leadership, such as trying to remove an awful lot of free speech from the community. Like, there was this fiasco at one point where they tried to remove the word logs or journal. No, it was they wanted to remove the word journal because that was associated with Town of Salem, and people were calling their will or journal or whatever logs or something, and they didn't like it. So they tried to filter it out. They literally tried to stop people from using a word of the English language. And it backfired, because other people started to use other meanings of the word, and it didn't work. And so they had to rethink that. And I was thinking, well, hold on a second. Firstly, you've gone the way of Town of Salem already by having a word filter. And secondly, what the hell are you doing trying to take away people's free speech? And then there was the incident. The glorious incident where one of the developers shut down an entire Discord channel, telling people essentially, would you kindly shut the fuck up, you're driving me insane. At which point I was like, oh boy, this person should not be let near a community. Ironically, this is the same person who's hiring their closest friends as new developers. They were moderators, now they're new developers. Because, quite frankly, this person is so paranoid and so insecure that I'm not surprised they need to be babysat 24/7. And it's painful to say, because I once saw this person as a friend. Unfortunately, when I criticised them, I was no longer that friend. But, again, that's personal. But this is about the things in general. At any rate, their moderation is filled with people who are not there because of their capability to do the job. From a first-hand experience, it's there from people who have the capability to make the developers feel safe. Because they are not going to attack the developers in any way because they're too scared of losing their jobs. Or they are too... oh, what's the word? Obsessed with having power? At any rate, I don't expect you guys to take this on face value from me. I would love to throw some evidence your way, but this is a YouTube video, and unfortunately that evidence would include private information. I mean, you can think for yourselves. Am I lying? Am I bullshitting? That's your choice. At any rate, let's go back to Town of Salem for a minute. How their moderators generally got put into their position. Let me think. Their moderators seem to be kind of yes men. People who thought the developers were people who they couldn't question. I know a few moderators from that time who were very much against what the developers were doing once we started to point out a lot of their flaws. And clearly enough, a lot of people agreed with us on what they were doing. You know, Las Vegas trips with Kickstarter money, trying to use their fanbase for their own nefarious deeds. Those 10 servers they never explained why they need to keep the game up. It was all a ginormous mess. But at any rate, those moderators, they were all generally put in either because they were naive children, I think is a way to say it, because I know a lot of them were sort of like 15 and seemed to think that the developers could do no wrong. But in the end, that sort of fell through, and now the developers are using moderators who pretty much just silence anyone who speaks against them or says anything that could cause any form of drama on the forums. The whole non-drama thing is counterproductive as it hurts victims as much as it hurts aggressors. And I feel like this entire situation has created an air in the social deduction community where the staff are generally going to be your biggest obstacle to having enjoyment in this game if you want to be part of the community. Because if you wish to try to do that, you have to pretty much get on this staff's good side. You can't just go without knowing them because you won't get anywhere in the community. And they refuse to let you be your own person. You have to be what they want. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. Which is painful if you wish to be part of a community. And even more despicable when you realise that the staff are putting their own personal bubble of ignorance in the way of the progress of their own games. Which makes me facepalm a lot. But, yeah. I don't think I've really got anything else to say on this right now. But if I need to do a follow-up, I will. But right now, this is pretty much the video that's going on the channel after like a ton of hiatus. Not sure how much more I'm going to be doing YouTube, but if I do, it'll be a more leisurely pace. And I'll be uploading more to do with, I think, maybe randomer games, or, ooh, shall we say, maybe some card games? Perhaps I'll do some more stuff to do with social deduction games if a new one comes out. Coincidentally, if you know any good social deduction games that are not Throne of Lies, Town of Salem, or Epic Mafia, please let me know, because I'm always up to try some new ones. I know Mind Knight's been put on my radar for a bit, but I've heard that people cheat on that, and that's not really something that attracts me. But anyway, so I've been back to Sword 2, thank you for listening, and yeah, sound off on your personal opinions or experiences in the comments, and let me know. I'm actually genuinely concerned about this, and if my fears are found true, then I guess it's more people than I thought, huh? Alright, see you next time, folks.